Welcome to the North American Hunting Odyssey, where members experience and share the Odyssey we call the hunt. This program has been created specifically for members of the North American Hunting Club.
Hi, I'm Bill Miller, editor of North American Hunter magazine, and your host for this edition of the North American Hunting Odyssey. The North American Hunting Club Odyssey video series was created especially for NAHC members just like you. It features tips and techniques from expert hunters that you can use to enhance your hunting success next time you're in the field. And it shares the excitement and the adventure of hunting. That's the best part of the North American Hunting Club Odyssey series. You can share your best adventures with your fellow NAHC members. So if you've got an adventure on tape, send it on in. We want to take a look at it. Now let's get started on this edition of the Odyssey. First, I'll be joining North American Hunter magazine's Whitetail columnist Larry Weischen down on the Perlitz Ranch in Texas. We'll look at a whitetail management program, then head to the blind as Larry attempts to take a whitetail with his handgun. Following that, we'll take an in-depth look at one of the country's fastest growing shooting sports, metallic silhouette, and see what all the commotion's about. Then it's time to grab the shotgun for a great day of duck hunting on the Central Flyway. And after that, North American Hunter senior editor Greg Gitchell joins turkey hunting legend Brad Harris of Loman Game Calls in the Missouri woods on opening day with a muzzle-loading shotgun slung over his shoulder. Next, Jerry Faust of Winchester shares some of the great info and equally great footage of their revolutionary fail-safe ammunition. After that, I'll share with you some incredible footage of big bucks fighting during the rut and how this can be the most exciting time to be out chasing after them. And last but certainly not least is a series of 3 firsts. What do I mean by that? Simple. Here it goes. First off, Montana member Kelly Johnson takes us along on his 12-year-old son Tim's first black bear hunt. Then New York member Gary Willem lets us join him and his 15-year-old son Adam on his first ever turkey hunt. Finally, outdoors woman and fellow member Tammy Gregory, age unknown, lets us climb right into the tree stand with her as she shares with all of us the adventure of taking her first buck with a bow. Bullseye! But first, it's off to the Perlitz Ranch to join North American Hunter Whitetail columnist Larry Weischen in the South Texas scrub. Larry, why does South Texas have so many big deer?
I think one of the key reasons for South Texas having big deer is that we've got a long growing season, we've got a lot of deer, this is fairly strong soil, we have a limited amount of hunting pressure, and most of the ranches in South Texas are set up on a management program where only a certain percentage of bucks and does are taken on an annual basis. So they get a chance to get some age, get good nutrition, and this area's got real good genetics for big antlers.
You mentioned management program. Can you give me a precise definition of what a management program involves?
The management program really is very multifaceted, but primarily we're looking at improving the habitat, to bring the habitat up to improve the quality of whitetail deer by increasing the nutrition. The South Texas plains have got a great variety of plants. We don't get a lot of rainfall, but what's here is pretty strong. It's good, strong soil. But as a result of all the different types of things that are out here for the deer to eat, there's lots of brush, there's a certain amount of forbs, there's a lot of cactus that comes into play, especially when times are hard. They depend upon it for moisture and also to a certain amount for different types of nutrition. We also do some planting of food plots, may do some supplemental feeding, some supplementation of minerals, and also look very carefully at the range from the livestock program. Any deer management program is only going to be as good as what that livestock program is, so we don't overgraze. We try to keep the numbers down to where they can survive in even the worst of times. And it's not uncommon in this part of the country to go for 6-8 months without any measurable rainfall. So all this comes into play, as well as the harvest. We try to harvest a certain number of bucks and does each year, harvesting equally, really kind of based on what the habitat can support, what we think the habitat's going to support in the future, fawn survival rates, current deer densities, current buck-to-doe ratio, several other things, the quality of the bucks, and also the age of the bucks that's there, has a great play in what we do on a management program.
We timed this hunt to begin right at the beginning of the rut, and we should be seeing a lot of bucks, right?
We should, on this hunt, see more bucks than most people see in a lifetime, quite honest. This is an extremely well-managed ranch. The family's been working on it for many years. We're going to see a lot of bucks. We're going to see some young bucks, we'll see some middle-aged bucks, and then we'll see some of the older bucks as well. And as we're approaching the rut, and each day that we're here, it's going to get stronger and stronger. We've seen a few bucks chasing does in the last several days, but they're just now getting started. So we're going to see a lot of deer. It's going to take some knowing what to look for and knowing what to pass up.
I've found that I get down here once or twice a year, when you see the buck you want, you know.
But I think all too often people look at a deer and especially if they've been hunting a while and say, oh, you know, I'm not sure he's scoring high enough. To me, I look for a deer that pleases me, that's a mature deer. I don't care what he scores. I don't care whether he's white. I like those got a lot of points. You know, and everybody's got their own standard, and I think it's important that you kind of set a standard when you go onto a hunt and says, this is the kind of deer I'm going to look for.
Larry, I know when you and I have hunted together before, you've told me if I don't like the weather here in Texas, just wait 10 minutes.
It's amazing, isn't it? It could be sunshiny in 5 minutes, maybe raining, it may be cold since that cold front's on the way.
Well, these bucks coming into the rut, they could be moving this afternoon.
They really should be. It ought to be a lot of fun. I tell you what, it's kind of a change, though. This time, usually when you come to Texas, I get to guide you. This time, you're guiding me.
I left the gun in the truck, and we'll see what kind of buck we can get in front of that pistol.
Hey, I'm impressed. I'm ready to go.
Every time I come down here, I'm amazed at the numbers of deer.
Here comes some more bucks now.
Oh, he's a nice buck.
He's got good time length.
Yeah, he's got 11 points.
Yeah, he's got 11 points.
What do you think?
You're the guide today.
Well...
But I think I'm going to make a decision anyway.
Good. If it was my decision, I'd tell you to take him.
Well, I appreciate you seconding the motion because I think that's just exactly what I want to try to do.
And he's coming towards us.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till I get a good broadside shot in him.
And we want a good shot, but uh-oh.
Well, maybe he'll come back out in just a second.
Yeah, there he comes.
Okay. Try to get on him as soon as he turns broadside.
There he is. You missed!
I can't believe I missed him.
There's no question he's all right, but Larry, that deer was only 50 yards away, and
How close did I get?
well, I think you missed by 20 yards.
Oh, come
you got
on.
over halfway there.
You're kidding me.
No, he wasn't. You weren't that far off, but it was below his feet. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness gracious! I can't believe I missed that buck.
Well, it happens to the best of them, and to me.
Yeah, but not in front of me.
Now I know what guides go through.
Did I try you on the side today?
Well, I don't know if he's going to be back or not.
Let's pretend at least that maybe he might come back in because sometimes he didn't seem real scared when he left.
Okay, we'll do that just for you, Larry.
Okay.
You must have a 4-leaf clover in your pocket today.
Hey, Bill, I think I've got a whole pocket full of them. I'm leaving this. Take your time. Maybe I'll know this time.
Good shot!
Finally!
You are one lucky hunter. Jeez.
I ain't believing this. Golly.
Oh, he's a good buck.
Yes, he is. He is going to look good on the wall.
Yeah.
I don't believe this.
Oh, well, he's not going anywhere now. We can take our time and go
let's
get
go
him.
have a closer look at him.
Well, I guess there's no question where that shot went.
Thank goodness I had a second chance. You don't often get a second chance at a good buck like that.
Heck, a lot of people never get a chance at a buck like that to begin with. Oh, that's a nice deer. 11 points. Which would be the extra one over here?
Probably this one. This would probably be a deduct or non-typical, but I tell you what, in my record book, that's a plus right there.
One of today's most popular shooting games didn't get its start in America. It came to us from south of the border, and now it's catching on with a bang and a clang. Back in the early 70s, only a handful of American shooters had ever heard of a game the Mexicans call Silhouettes Metallicas. Today, the game we call Metallic Silhouette is the fastest growing rifle and handgun shooting sport in this country, attracting tens of thousands of shooters all across the country. Most of us are familiar with the shooting galleries that have been attractions at amusement parks and carnivals for many years. Well, you can think of silhouette shooting as a large outdoor shooting gallery. It involves shooting at steel silhouette targets such as these chicken, javelina, turkey, and sheep. The basic silhouette match consists of 40 shots at 40 individual targets. The object of the game is simple: knock down as many targets as you can. And the shooter who can knock down more targets than just about anybody else is this young lady from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Marguerite Everhart, who just happened to establish a world record in metallic silhouette, shooting against both men and women. Let's watch as Marguerite shows us how it's done. A shooter starts off by firing at chicken silhouettes. And as with all the targets, they are shot in order from left to right with only one shot allowed at each target. In the big bore category, the chicken targets are at 200 meters distance. That's about 219 yards. And to score a hit, the target must be knocked down. The next row of targets is the javelina silhouettes, and they're set up another 100 meters beyond the chickens at about 328 yards away. In many types of target shooting, special equipment and supports like this bench and vise are allowed, but not in silhouette shooting. You've got to stand up on your own hind feet and shoot offhand. When you're shooting at small metal targets more than 300 yards away, I think you can understand why a perfect score has never been fired. The last two series of targets are a real test of anyone's shooting abilities. The turkey silhouettes are at 385 meters, and the rams are set all the way out at 500 meters. That's some 547 yards. And believe me, it takes a steady hand to topple a 50-pound steel ram at that distance. Avid silhouette shooters like Marguerite favor specially designed rifles with heavy target barrels and custom designed stocks. But you don't need all that fancy equipment to get started silhouette shooting. The game is a great way to practice with your favorite big game rifle before the season starts.
You know, if I had a hard week at like school or something, I can, just have fun, and forget about everything.
It's fun seeing the animal go down when you know that you've done everything correctly.
It has improved my hunting probably 100% in the last 6 years.
Well, for our family, silhouettes is a total family sport because I'm into high power, my wife is into hunter pistol, and the kids are into the 22s. So all of us have our own form of silhouettes that we're practicing on, and in time the kids will be up into the high power, and I know one daughter's going into pistol soon.
Pretty soon I'll be a better shooter than my dad. A couple of years.
I'm going to be winner this year with any luck at all.
One reason that metallic silhouettes are now so popular is that the whole family can get out and shoot. There are now versions of the game shot with practically every kind of rifle, handgun, and air gun. Shooting silhouettes with a .22 rifle, for example, is simply a miniature version of the high-powered rifle game. This is a game young shooters can really have fun with. You don't need an established range for the .22 version since the distances aren't that great. Combine a set of silhouette targets which are readily available and most any kind of open terrain with a safe background, and you're in business. Of all silhouette shooting, none has experienced more phenomenal growth than handgunning. Today there are thousands of handgunners across the United States who are avid silhouette shooters. And that's really amazing because just 10 years ago, formal competition in silhouettes with handguns didn't even exist. There are many categories in handgun silhouette for different types of handguns, including these specialized target models in the unlimited class, normally shot in the Creedmoor position. For all large caliber handguns, targets begin with the chickens at 50 meters, all the way out to the rams at 200 meters. And believe me, hitting a small metal target with a handgun at over 200 yards offers the ultimate challenge to any handgunner. Plus, there are classes for conventional handguns, such as these long-barreled .44 and .357 Magnums, as well as .22 caliber handguns. So it's truly a sport for handgunners of every persuasion. Today, there really isn't an area of shooting sports where silhouette hasn't become popular, and that includes versions of the game with air guns. Targets are 1/10 the size of the full-size silhouettes, and there are matches for both air rifles and air pistols. With an air rifle, the most distant target is just over 40 yards, and with air pistols, it's some 27 yards. You know, whether it's informal practice with an air gun, a high-powered rifle match, or shooting in one of those handgun classes, there's plenty of challenge in this sport for both young and adult shooters. So whether you're interested in competition or just want to get involved for the fun of it, I hope you'll give silhouette shooting a try. To make the right camouflage decisions for your hunting, remember Camo's two most important functions: to break up your silhouette and to mask movement. In selecting a camo pattern to wear for big game hunting, first consult the regs for the area you'll be hunting. the law may require a large portion of your clothing be hunter orange. If it's legal and you decide to wear camouflage for hunting big game, you need to be most concerned about matching the textures and proportions of light to dark or contrast with the cover. Camouflage like Realtree's all-purpose and all-purpose gray patterns incorporate large elements and seldom repeated patterns which match the texture and contrast of many cover types. Patterns which include less foliage and more bark textures like original Realtree work best when more leaves have fallen. You can take greatest advantage of these patterns by standing close to large tree trunks. If you'll be hunting after the first snowfall or from a tree stand with a bright sky behind you, high contrast patterns like Realtree's Snow Camo blend best. Remember, your goal is to break up your outline and conceal motion. A great way to test your camo is with a video camera. Have a friend video you wearing your camouflage in the terrain and light conditions you'll face the most. Move slowly, just like you would while hunting. Play the video back through the black and white viewfinder. This will eliminate your human eye's prejudice for color and give you a perspective closer to how the animal sees you. Matching camo color to the background comes into play when hunting waterfowl or turkeys. As evidenced by their own bright feathers, birds see color even better than we do. So that makes texture, contrast, and color all important in selecting camouflage to hide from geese, ducks, and turkeys. Now it's time to grab the shotgun and the foul weather gear and head to a small, unnamed lake in northwestern Minnesota. It's a cloudy, wet, and windy day, the kind us waterfowlers dream of. Waterfowl hunting has always held a special place in my heart. But now that I own a great little lab named Sadie, who positively lives to retrieve ducks, I've taken the next step to the point where I'd call hunting ducks and geese a passion. But just a few years ago, the waterfowling picture was bleak at best. Years of drought, along with nesting pothole drainage in the northern prairies, had led to crisis conditions on most major U.S. flyways. In fact, the very future of duck hunting in this country was hanging in the balance back in the late 80s. But thanks to some help from Mother Nature, along with a concerted effort headed up by landowners, sportsmen, and such outstanding organizations as Delta Waterfowl, Ducks Unlimited, Waterfowl USA, and Wildlife Forever, we're seeing not only a resurgence in waterfowl numbers, but in the number of waterfowl hunters as well. And this past fall, I had the pleasure of sharing a decoy spread with two good friends, Rich Sundberg of the North American Outdoors team and Jim Clark of Flambeau Decoys. And while the weather was cold and miserable, the hunting action was just the opposite. Take these boys. Sadie! Sadie!
Hey Bill, that was a classic. Pulled up, had a bird in my sights and my hood fell over my glass. Well, that bird really came into the beaks nice, didn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Atta girl. Good girl. It's a nice bull.
So are you gonna put that one on the wall?
I think so.
I think you have to.
Beautiful bird.
We have that hen we shot this morning. You could do a nice pair out of a piece of driftwood.
Yeah. Hey, they've been protected for how long? How many years? It's been, I mean, since I've started duck hunting, you could not take a canvasback.
Yeah, they've been, right in the decoy.
God. We're wide awake.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
Good job, Sadie. Yeah, that is an absolutely beautiful bull can. And here, we got the hen this morning.
Yep.
Here's the hen.
We're allowed one apiece now.
Yep.
Nice match set. You'll have to put that on a nice piece of driftwood.
This is the one you shot right off the bat this morning, right, Phil?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful birds. What has caused them to come back so strong where we're actually able to hunt now?
It's just a lot of work. They did get some rain in the potholes. These breed a lot in the prairie potholes of northern North Dakota, southern Manitoba. And the rain helped. All we needed is some help from Mother Nature. But there's been a lot of money and effort poured into them as well.
Major holding area, Lake Christina, which is just about 15 miles north of here, is a protected area. You can't shoot cans in Christina in Grant County or Douglas County.
Yep.
So the bird population for cans is very strong in this one area. Hey guys, there are some birds. Let's get set up and get back.
Okay, good deal.
Let's get back.
We're getting loaded up. I think we got some more birds coming in, Jim.
Do you? Where at?
Hey, Bill, get set up. There's some birds coming from the northeast. It looks like they're coming right in the end of the spread. They're coming in your end. Working the pipeline. Get ready.
What do they look like? They look like bills?
Yep, those are bills. Oh, they're coming right down to Bill. Give me another 2-3, Jim.
Here they come.
Yep. Take them, Bill.
Nice shot, Bill.
Good shooting, Bill.
Drop that Drake. Beautiful.
Nice shot, Bill. That was a long one.
Yeah, good shooting. Sadie's got a good mark on her.
Yeah, it's great having the dog to do all the work.
Good girl.
Yeah, especially when it's this cold.
Heel.
I'm just looking forward to taking the decoys, and that's what's really going to be fun today.
You betcha.
Heel.
You know, half the fun, I think, is watching the dogs work, whether you're hunting ducks or
Good girl. Heel.
chasing up on birds.
No doubt.
Sadie, heel.
Hey, Rich, what kind of birds do you normally see this time of year in west central Minnesota?
Well, pretty much divers and some northern mallards. By now, most of the local ducks have pulled out. Once in a while, we'll still see a few woodies around, but all the teal and most of the local mallards are long gone. And so we're going to be seeing redheads, some cans, primarily though, greater scaup. We're going to be seeing some ring-necked or ringbills, as most people around here call them, and some pretty good numbers of them if we hit the migration rate.
Rich, which direction do the ducks usually approach this spot? Are they usually coming from the east to west?
Generally, this spot works best if we have a good west wind or a south wind, but for some reason in this lake, the divers will work this point no matter what kind of wind you have.
The ones that came in earlier definitely hit that long string that we've got going out into the lake and followed it right on in. Do they typically do that? I mean, when they're banking around a corner, they'll hit the farthest decoy out and then come right up the pipe?
If things are working right, the whole goal is for those birds to pick up that lead bird on the far end, drop right in and follow that line right in, and here's our pocket right in through here, and typically that's where we're hoping we're going to have our shooting. Say, Jim, have you guys recently changed the design and/or the painting of your decoys?
Well, we haven't changed any of the molds recently on the ducks, but we have completely redesigned all the paint schedules. And we went through every single species this year and just gave them all a facelift, and I think they look good, don't you?
Yeah, they look great. I like the way the heads are stand up a little more erect. I mean, they really stand out.
Want to take the Drake?
Okay, they're breaking in.
Take it.
Coming in. All right, nice shot, Jimmy. Good job. It's another one for the wall. Beautiful Drake redhead.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
You know, it's amazing how much they do look like a canvasback. I mean, look at here.
Sit. Heel. Heel. Sit.
Hey, one of the easiest ways from a distance to tell the two apart, in addition to the lighter white in the back, is the profile of the head, like you were saying, because it's much longer slope on the bill versus a redhead's got that.
Yeah. Length of the neck and overall size, too.
Yeah, you can see the can's a little bit bigger bird.
The can just comes across as a much whiter bird, too.
Yeah, when they bank.
So even on top of the wings, they're whiter. Gorgeous bird.
Beautiful.
You better get set up, guys. There's some more birds working over here.
Good job. What a beautiful day.
Yep.
I mean,
Sadie, come on.
awesome.
A little high and a little right, but it's getting there. Next, it's time to fast forward the clock about 6 months and head about 500 miles south as we join North American Hunter Magazine's senior editor, Greg Gitcho, on his first ever muzzle-loading turkey hunt. Greg had the rare pleasure to pick the mind of one of the country's top turkey experts, Brad Harris of Lohman Game Calls, and they just happened to see a few birds to boot. Spring turkey hunting's popularity is the fastest growing of all of today's hunting pursuits. And with turkeys available to hunters in every state except Alaska, it's no wonder why their appeal has begun to skyrocket. And when it comes to the challenge of attempting to take one of these magnificent birds, It's easy to see why so many hunters are circling the spring gobbler season in red on their hunting calendars. And as if taking a spring gobbler wasn't difficult enough in itself, some die-hard longbeard enthusiasts now head for the spring woods with muzzle-loading shotguns slung over their shoulders, making this one of hunting's ultimate challenges. One of the sportsmen who enjoys just such an added challenge is North American Hunter magazine senior editor Greg Gitcho. Last season, Greg had the rare opportunity to spend a couple of days hunting in Missouri's Ozark Hills with one of America's finest turkey hunters and guides, Brad Harris of Loman Game Calls. Let's join Brad and Greg as they begin their hunt for a smoke pole longbeard.
He's hot, he's hot. You know, we're close. We're gonna take it easy and get up here and set up. Okay. He's right there.
After locating a tom with his call, Brad and Greg made their initial setup.
Here, hands up.
Repeated calling by Brad and the weakening return call by the gobbler told our two hunters that the bird was moving away from them, probably following some hens. So off they went.
I hate to spook that hen off that nest, but look at there.
Sure enough.
At least she was on nest
That's where
she
she
came out of
was.
there. Well, that's, I don't want to disturb it, but that's I guess a good sign for the hunters. The hens are on the nest, so
Yeah,
we should be able to pick up a bird here.
we can see 5 or 6 eggs there. She's probably got a couple more buried underneath the leaves.
Leaves covered up. Let's get out of here, maybe. Hopefully we didn't booger up too bad.
Yeah.
I think he's off that other point.
Then, down in a low-lying area, Brad's calls were met with a thunderous return gobble, and another setup was made. In just seconds, the black outlines of several turkeys appeared, and the adrenaline started pumping. As the birds got closer to the decoy, and Brad and Greg got a closer look as well, all 5 birds, it turned out, were jakes, or yearling turkeys, perfectly legal to shoot. But the day was still early, and Greg decided to hold out for a longbeard.
Right there. Move over right there. Put a decoy out.
How far off, Brad?
I imagine it's 150, 200 yards.
Okay. Brad, which side?
I think he's going to be coming around to the right.
Okay.
Around the edge of that real thick brush now. There's a little lane over there, but it's thick.
Okay. Brad, can you see him yet?
I hear him. They're still coming around.
Brad, you hear that drumming?
Yeah, he's getting close now. He's getting close. Get ready. There's a tom in the back. Take your time. Take your time. Let it get in that little opening. Watch those hands now. Okay, Greg. When it gets in there real tight. Now you got one shot. Make it count. Good shot. Boy, that's a big old heavy turkey. Look at that. Oh, let's see here. 1, 2, 23 pounds.
23, yeah.
23 pounds.
Beauty. What do you think, his beard 10 inch?
Yeah, we'll find out here. Let's see. That's a good beard.
I'd
good,
say 10 inches.
It's a good thick beard. But I tell you what, he's following them ladies through the woods, wasn't he?
Buddy.
10 1/4. Let's see here. Yeah, you got you,
Almost.
oh golly.
Almost
Almost 1.25 inches.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great turkey.
Thank
That's
you.
an old timer. That muzzleloader did the job,
It
didn't
sure did.
Some people think that's ugly. I think that's one of the prettiest things God ever put a breath into. Boy, that's a nice turkey. Good gravy. That is. Look at this thing.
Look at his tail on.
Look at that.
Oh, my.
Beautiful, beautiful wild turkey. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Greg, there'll be a bunch of club members probably wanting you to take them turkey hunting.
I'd send him with you, buddy. You're the caller.
Bring them. I tell you what, this is what it's all about.
So, Brad, if you can summarize what we did today, did we make any mistakes, or what would you recommend?
I think the good points that came out of this hunt was the fact that we stayed very active. We stayed at it. You know, there was no way I was going to quit till 1 o'clock. You know, I mean, I'm going to hunt till 1 whether they gobble or not. That is persistence, and that really is the key. Second thing is knowing the terrain. You know, one good thing about it, I've scouted the areas. I know where I've heard birds in the past. I know what looks good. And so by knowing the terrain, I had confidence enough to go to those areas and try them. And again, they weren't gobbling, but you got to realize that any minute you can make a call and a turkey could cut you off and come right in. So
Exactly.
I think that is very much the key. And I think another thing is very important, again, is confidence in your calling. We've done a lot of calling. You know, calling is why I like to hunt turkeys, is call and make them gobble. A lot of people are afraid to call. Don't be afraid to call. Call with some aggressiveness, call with some confidence, and don't be afraid to call. If you make a mistake on your call, no big deal. Cover it up with a good one and go right along. It ain't going to hurt you.
The uses for a shotgun are normally very different than the uses for a rifle. But there are two hunting situations in which you'll want your shotgun to give you rifle-like performance. The first is obviously slug hunting for deer. The second one is turkey hunting. You're dealing with a tight pattern that you want to place precisely on target. And in both those situations, a scope is a big help on your shotgun. Well, that's a dead turkey, but the center of the pattern went a little bit high and right. The great thing about a scope is I can just make the adjustments for that and bring it right on where I want to hit. In turkey hunting, a scope offers a number of advantages. The biggest is that a precision adjustment of the center of the pattern. A second advantage to a specialty shotgun scope like the Simmons Pro Diamond with an enclosed reticle is that you can use that reticle to accurately judge the range to your target. Thirdly, just like in rifle hunting, a scope allows you to pick openings in the brush where you can take your game cleanly. A scope on a shotgun shooting slugs is an obvious choice because there you really are trying to make your shotgun become a rifle. And remember that just because there's a scope on your shotgun doesn't mean that it's going to shoot further. It's just going to allow you to shoot more accurately. One of the great things about the Remington system is the cantilever, which allows you to mount the scope permanently to the barrel instead of putting it on the receiver. Because that way, the scope is always tuned in to what the barrel's doing. And then when next turkey season rolls around, you want to put your turkey barrel back on, everything's ready to go. I've got a little work to do here and some adjustment. I'm going to take one more shot and I should be right there. Remember guys, at the range, glasses, earplugs. Well, that looked good in the scope. You know, if you want to seriously get into turkey hunting and deer hunting with slugs, consider a combination like this, and I highly recommend it wears a scope. Every once in a while, a product comes along that's destined to be a classic from the very start. Jerry Faust is standing by to tell us about Winchester's newest classic. Now here's Jerry.
I'm here today to tell you about and to show you the next technological leap in centerfire rifle ammunition design and in-target performance. It's called Winchester Supreme Fail-Safe Bullet. And as you can see from this demonstration, its consistently dramatic in-target performance is so far beyond anything you've ever seen that it can only be described as revolutionary. Simply put, Supreme Fail-Safe ammunition was designed and manufactured as an advanced cartridge system with the bullet playing a crucial role in overall system performance. And more important for you, each bullet is literally custom designed from scratch to deliver maximum performance in each specific cartridge. Because let's face it, you can't realistically expect just one specific bullet type to perform equally well in all cartridges within a given caliber under all shooting conditions, no matter how well it's originally designed. That line of thinking is exactly where Winchester began in building the best trophy bullet cartridge system that's available today. We studied the market. We saw what worked and what didn't. We talked to the experts, the guides, the hunters, and the riders. Then we got to work and created the Supreme Fail-Safe cartridge concept. The Fail-Safe system centers around the development of the patented Fail-Safe big game bullet design. Let's take a look. With the Fail-Safe bullet, we bypassed traditional manufacturing techniques. We started with a solid copper alloy slug and extruded it into dual cavities. The front section incorporates strategically cut notches in the cavity of the hollow point. Upon impacting the target, the bullet expands into 4 uniform petals, more than 1 1/2 times the diameter of the bullet, every time without fail. Here, let me prove it to you again. Water, by the way, is one of the most unforgiving and toughest media in which to shoot a bullet, because at the incredible velocities that a bullet travels, hitting water is the same as, well, hitting a brick wall. Take a close look. Unlike exposed lead-tipped bullets, which can shed up to 40% of their weight when they hit the target, the Fail-Safe bullet's rugged, custom-formulated copper alloy nose maintains virtually 100% weight retention. We also incorporated the steel insert to protect the heavy lead core in the rear cavity. This exclusive Fail-Safe feature, combined with a brass cap in the bullet's heel, literally seals the lead core in place, ensuring deep penetration with virtually no chance of bullet failure. We then applied our patented black Lubalox coating to the Fail-Safe bullet. This coating substantially reduces in-barrel friction, resulting in lower pressures and reduced copper fouling. To top it off, we use a special nickel-plated shell case for corrosion resistance. We extensively tested this revolutionary bullet against the same types of targets and substances a trophy hunter is likely to encounter. The result? A true fail-safe bullet that performs like no other. One that features ideal on-target accuracy and dramatic in-target expansion performance, creating an effective quad-pedal mushroom. A bullet that offers you the deepest penetration of any expanding bullet on the market. I don't care if you're shooting at a target that's at a range of 50 yards or 350 yards. The Supreme Fail-Safe bullet will perform exactly as designed and without fail.
Without question, the white-tailed deer is North America's favorite big game animal, and for good reason. Because this critter's got a lot going for it. Its eyesight is incredible, its hearing is phenomenal, and its sense of smell is unbelievable. Add all that together, plus the fact that venison tastes great, and you'll realize why so many hunters spend so many hours going all out for a big buck. You know, even though whitetail season lasts just a few months out of the year, we can enjoy deer all year long. Spending time preseason scouting, as well as sitting in the blind waiting for that big boy to come along, can be some of the most enjoyable and educational time a deer hunter will ever spend. You just learn so much by watching deer. These hoof sparring matches generally occur during the summer in areas with large concentrations of deer. The purpose is to establish social hierarchy, and you'll just as often see does participating in these battles as bucks. Rarely, even though these fights appear to be knockdown, drag-out affairs, are deer injured while fighting. Does will fight with their hooves all year round, but bucks will fight primarily with their hooves anytime their antlers are in velvet. At those times, the horns are mighty tender and vulnerable. Particularly in these kind of fights where the bucks are trying to establish herd rank, about the only thing bruised is some male ego. As the season advances and the bucks shed the velvet from their antlers and get polished hard horns, the transformation is incredible. Even early on in hard horns, you'll see numbers of bucks together, but as the rut approaches, they won't even tolerate another buck within smelling distance. The most serious fighting among bucks takes place just as the rut is beginning. Bucks then are trying to establish dominance and territory. To the winner goes the right to breed the most does and pass on the positive genes to another generation. And not always is it the buck with the biggest antlers that wins the fight. Body mass and especially strong neck muscles really are an important factor. This pre-rut fighting is the reason that the technique of rattling antlers works so well for hunting deer. As you can tell, these bucks become engrossed in what they're doing, to the exclusion of almost all else. Sometimes a buck that comes to your rattling will be looking to join a fight, but more often than not, he's coming to steal the does away from the preoccupied fighters. Anytime bucks are in a fighting mood is a great time to be in the woods hunting. The animals become so preoccupied, they think about almost nothing else. In a few minutes, we're going to take you on a hunt that shows exactly that, how a buck can forget almost everything else when the power of the rut takes hold. But for right now, let's take just a minute to watch these two big guys go at it. You're going to enjoy this. Did you see those bucks go crashing into that pole and nearly topple into the water tank? That's really something, huh? But that's exactly the type of behavior that bucks will exhibit when they go into the rut. That fight lasted almost a half an hour, and as exhausted as those deer were, that dominant buck made one more lunge to finally run off the smaller deer. Making your own wild game jerky isn't rocket science. All you need is some prepared jerky cure, which is available at your local grocery store or from outdoor specialty catalogs like Gander Mountain. A scale to weigh the meat, a jumbo Ziploc bag, and an outdoor smoker. You can use your oven too, but the outdoor smoker adds that extra little bit of hickory or mesquite flavor that makes it so much better. Slice the game meat into 1/4-inch thick strips, cutting with the grain. I'm cutting up some caribou meat here from a trip that we took last year for North American Outdoors, but really you can use any kind of game. And let me give you one hint. For jerky, don't use your finer cuts of meat. Save your steaks and chops for the grill or the broiler. Anything will work fine for this. Down to the last piece. Now it's time to put the jerky in the bag and take care of the most critical step, weighing it. Okay, now let's see, it's 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Gotta look up here how much cure to use. Now you need to follow the manufacturer's suggestions for how much cure to use based on the total weight. This is an important step. Don't guess. Okay, here it is all mixed up to those proportions. The directions say to use a glass bowl, but I found that plastic bag works great for this reason right here, that you can get in there and knead it and mix it up with your hands. Well, that's it. Now it's into the refrigerator and we'll put it on the smoker tomorrow. In the meantime, I got some turkeys to put to bed. Well, as you can tell, the weather's changed overnight, and the turkeys didn't cooperate this morning. But that hasn't dampened my enthusiasm at all for making a great batch of jerky. I've got the racks loaded up. All I got to do is put them in and wait about 4 hours. And remember, you don't want that temperature too hot, 200 degrees maximum. You can't speed up the process and make good jerky. It's been about 3 hours now. We'll try one of the smaller pieces. It's getting there, but not quite. Just a little bit more. For making jerky on a smoker like the Masterbuilt, you want to keep it just in the warm range, never any higher. And there you have it, a great batch of wild game jerky, the finest field snack man has ever created. If it ever makes it out to the field, hey Bob, come back here with that. Now it's time for my favorite part of the North American Hunting Odyssey. It's where you, our members, become the stars. In this edition, we've got 3 great segments to share with you. First, picture yourself out in the rugged wilderness of Montana. Imagine the adrenaline rush of staring down a game trail into the eyes of a 300-pound black bear. Now, put yourself in the shoes of then 12-year-old Tim Johnson from Superior, Montana. What a day he had in store for him. In watching this footage, I'm not even sure how Kelly and his son Tim spotted that bear. That's what western mountain bear hunting is like. Those black bear appear as grains of pepper on a distant mountainside. Hunting spring black bear in the mountains is a far cry from sitting over bait in the northern forests of Canada. Both of them are fun, but stalk and glass hunting for black bear is something special. You've got to spot the animal, and you go to him instead of letting him come to you. The ranges that you spot bears at in the mountains are sometimes incredible. We're talking several miles away. Before you make a stalk, you want to make sure that it's an animal that's worth going after. These bears tend to come out late in the day, and I can't think of a situation where it's more important to have a good spotting scope, a good set of binoculars, and a good rifle scope. You're going to need every one of them. And just in case you're wondering, that dog that occasionally runs across the picture, that's Griff, the Johnston's Griffin Pointer. He's along because in addition to hunting bear, Kelly and Tim never pass up the opportunity to put some delicious grouse on the table as well. Well, it took a lot of maneuvering to get up on that bear, but they finally did it. And when they got in range, they estimated that it was really a nice bear. Better than 6 foot and well over 200 pounds. Now I want every North American Hunting Club member who's been there to think about it. This is a 12-year-old boy on his first bear hunt. And that bear is staring at him, coming right down the barrel of his gun.
He's gonna come up right in front of you.
To be honest with you, I don't know if I could have been as calm and collected as Tim was. He looked at the bear, he looked back at his dad for the okay, got the thumbs up, and took care of business.
Walk up above him.
When you think about it, I'll bet you'll agree that you have to be sharing the moment with one of the proudest guys in America. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's Tim or his dad. That's a beautiful bear, 6.5 feet, close to 300 pounds. One of my most memorable hunts was my first wild turkey outing. The first time I saw a big gobbler come out from under the brush in a full strut, it was worse than any case of buck fever I ever had. I can only imagine how 15-year-old Adam Wilhelm felt right then. Looking back on it, I don't think I took my first turkey hunt till I was about 24 years old. Well, this is 15-year-old Adam Wilhelm's first turkey hunt, and look at that gobbler that's coming in. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Turkey hunting is plain and simple some of the most exciting hunting you can do. Those seconds when the bird is coming towards you but still out of range are some of the longest seconds you'll ever live. The bird's in range, and Adam's getting ready. He wants to make sure of that shot.
Get on, get on, get on!
Nice bird. First bird with a 410, huh? Good job.
That's a beautiful 20-pound plus Eastern Tom. Adam and Gary were proud to have you as part of the North American Hunting Club. And thanks for sharing that first with us. Now get ready to climb into the tree stand with first-time bow hunter Tammy Gregory. She's hunting the grounds of the Shin Oak Hunting Club, long known as a big buck area. And it didn't take long for it to live up to its reputation. Notice how the buck keys off the does. He's relying on their senses as well as his own to make sure there's no danger in the area. Even possessed by the rut, as this buck is, he's in no hurry. He's taking his time to make sure everything's okay. Boy, that looked like a good hit to me. And before Tammy climbed out of her tree stand, she saw what appeared to be the deer begin to go down behind some brush less than 100 yards away.
Oh man, that was so exciting. I hit that buck under the tree 3 or 4 times. I didn't think I was going to get a shot at him. He was running does all over down here. He ran him down the draw one time and chased him back towards us. And I knew if I didn't get a shot that I probably wasn't going to get another one. Oh, boy. I saw him staggering down there after I shot, so we're going to give him a few minutes and maybe go see if we can find him. Whew. Buck. This is my first buck. I didn't expect to get one this nice, boy.
Congratulations, Tammy. That's a great buck, no matter whether it's somebody's first or the 15th. Well, I hope that you picked up a tip or two from this edition of the Hunting Odyssey that you'll be able to use on your next hunting trip. And I hope you had a good time. I know that I sure did. Before we go, I need to thank some folks who helped us make this video possible. A big thank you first goes to my pal and NAHC Whitetail columnist, Larry Weischen. I've learned an awful lot about whitetail from him, and you can too if you follow his column religiously. And to the National Shooting Sports Foundation for their assistance on our metallic silhouette feature. And the Frozen Finger Award is shared equally between NAHC's Rich Sundberg and Jim Clark of Flambeau Products. It sure was cold that day out duck hunting, but it was worth every shivering second of it. Thanks also to Brad Harris and Senior Editor Greg Gitcho. Guys, it was almost like being out there in the woods with you. Thanks as well to Winchester's Jerry Faust for that informative look at their fail-safe ammunition. And to John Four of Foresight Inc. for sharing some of that spectacular fighting buck footage with us. And thanks to NAHC members Kelly and Tim Johnson for taking us along on their successful Montana black bear hunt. To Adam Wilhelm and his dad Gary for letting us tag along with them on their New York turkey hunt. Thanks to everyone at Shin Oak Hunting Club, and especially to Tammy Gregory for sharing her successful bow hunt. But most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you once again for taking the time out of your busy lives to invite me and your fellow NAHC members into your living room. Until next time, take care and good hunting.